Step right up for the most tremendous Is It Kino podcast of the year! Witness the man who is half monkey, half human, the foul beast, and his co-host, the man with the world's smallest penis, Kino Corner. That's it, that's all I had. That's my carnival barker. Do I sound like Willem Dafoe?
Do I have to, drop my pants as part of the 10-in-1 sideshow?
Do you think people will pay a quarter to see your tiny penis?
Is this like a magic act, or is it a freak show? Like, I can make my penis disappear.
Oh, it's clearly a freak show if you have the foul beast, half man, half monkey, and the 6-foot-tall man with the smallest micro penis on earth. I think that would make a hell of a freak show. I think if we took this on the road, we went to Vegas, we hit up Reno, I think we could make an upwards of $800.
Yeah, that's definitely more money than I made all year from YouTube.
Is that true?
No. I mean, I made about $1,000 from YouTube this year. So.
Oh shit!
Yeah. So, but
that'll make up for the budget of 1 month worth of videos.
yeah, exactly. But no, I mean, so we're gonna talk about Nightmare Alley today. I don't know if people got the impression. Well, they probably clicked on this knowing that we're talking about Nightmare Alley. buddy, you saw the box office earnings of the week. Literally nobody on earth saw this movie. Everybody saw Spider-Man. I think this movie made, $2 million? Yeah, well, so Disney owns Fox, right? They own 20th Century Fox. And they had the bright idea of releasing Nightmare Alley on the exact same day as Spider-Man No Way Home. Look, both movies appeal to very different audiences, but Nightmare Alley definitely appeals to a way more niche audience. And I think also with inflation and the economy, people are going to be more hesitant to see more movies in the cinema now. And I think I honestly think, I know that we talked about this and you're like, you heard about alternate programming. I honestly think that this was Disney sort of burying, however you say it, Nightmare Alley. I think that was the case. That they want to release it for Oscars.
Yeah. I see your conspiracy theory, but my question would be, why would Disney, if they own the movie and they didn't have to pay money to make it, so any earnings are just like free money for them, why would they want to bury their own project? Why wouldn't they want every movie to make as much money as possible if they're the ones reaping the benefits?
They've done this before. I think
why?
I think they want the IPs, and I think that they want to keep the IPs alive and in their whatever the copyright or trademark is in their wheelhouse. But they did this with Terrence Malick's A Hidden Life 2 years ago, right after they bought 20th Century Fox. They completely buried that film. And then there was very little marketing for West Side Story, which they also released, and that movie bombed. I don't know. You know what? I had a conspiracy theory when Disney bought 20th Century Fox that they bought it basically just to kill off all the IPs and all the franchises. And I honestly think that that's true. It's weird. It almost doesn't make sense, but I think it's to have the mainline Disney films just completely dominate at the box office. Because one of the things that Disney did after they bought 20th Century Fox is that they recalled a lot of legacy showings of old 20th Century Fox movies like Aliens and movies like that would show in cinemas. There'd be like a Saturday movie night screening of Aliens or something like that. They recalled all of those films and told all the theaters that you can't show those films anymore.
What the fuck? Laws of capitalism and corporate greed tell me that they should be milking all of this shit for as much money as possible. Why are they burying their own product?
I honestly think it's out of contempt for 20th Century Fox. I think
but it's no longer. But now 20th Century Fox doesn't exist. Now it's just Disney. They own Aliens. Why would they not want to make money off of it? It's theirs now. Aliens is a Disney franchise, and you just have to accept it.
Ridley is a Disney princess.
Well, yeah.
But no, I don't. I honestly don't know. But that was one of the first things they did after buying 20th Century Fox. They put a lot of those movies in the vault. And
is that why Ridley Scott hates cape shit so much? Because Disney bought the rights to all of his movies?
that might be. That honestly might be. It looks like now, I don't know. If I was a big director, I almost have a feeling that what they're doing, like with West Side Story, with Nightmare Alley, and with some of these other sort of prestige pictures that have released through 20th Century Fox, what they're doing is that they're not really marketing these movies that well. West Side Story was not marketed well at all. I only ever saw like one 1-minute trailer of it in the cinemas. There wasn't really any hype behind it because
Who is distributing Licorice Pizza? Is that Disney too?
No, that's not Disney.
Okay, because I saw a trailer for that movie and it was the worst movie trailer I've ever seen in my whole life. So I figured that was Disney also trying to bury something. But no, I guess they just don't know what they're doing. Have you seen this trailer for Licorice Pizza where it's just like they're in the car and then somebody farts and she's like, "Did you fart in the car?" And that's the whole trailer.
Yeah, all my
Horrible.
friends who saw Licorice Pizza, they say it's really good, but the trailer...
Yeah, I'm sure the movie's good, but that trailer made me want to not see it. That did not look like a PTA movie.
No, the trailer, from what I heard, the trailer doesn't really do it justice, which always kind of pisses me off. But on the other end, Focus Features, man, they're hitting stuff out of the park, because the Northman trailer that dropped today was awesome.
Yeah.
I watched that trailer 3 times, dude. I'm pumped. I was showing it to my friends. I was like, look, guys, we got to watch this opening day. I mean,
any movie that has my alien waifu, I'm going to, butt in the seat. I got to see it.
Yeah, I love Anya Taylor-Joy. She, or were you talking about her or Bjork? Because you could say either are alien waifus.
Anya Taylor-Joy has been my alien waifu ever since, I guess, those M. Night Shyamalan movies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have not seen The Witch yet.
Oh, The Witch is really good. Yeah, I really
anyway,
like The Witch.
We're 8 minutes in, so let's talk about the movie of the day. That's right, Nightmare Alley. And I'll just say right now, I haven't seen all of the prestige films of the year yet, but this one very well may be my favorite movie I've seen so far this year.
Yeah, it was really good. I read the book, and then I watched the 1947 movie, and then I watched this movie. So it's really interesting seeing just the different adaptations of the same book. But I thought Bradley Cooper did an excellent job as Stanton Carlyle. So for anyone who's watching, I'm assuming that most people who are listening to this have not seen Nightmare Alley. So
we have to convince them why they should.
Yeah, so the trailer kind of makes it look like it's a horror film, and it kind of makes it look like it's a werewolf film, because it opens up with Willem Dafoe going like, "Is he man or beast? Is he man or beast?" Which is referring to the geek, by the way.
Yeah. What is a geek, for anybody who doesn't know? Because that's a central figure in the film. Yeah,
so actually the book Nightmare Alley really brought the idea of the geek to kind of the whole world. I mean, the geeks had existed before then, obviously, but...
and you're talking about computer nerds who like to talk about Star Wars and stuff? They had that back in 1943?
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the people that canceled me on Facebook over Spider-Man spoilers.
The people who were shitting on us in the Spider-Man No Way Home comment section?
Yeah.
Those are the geeks?
No, so geeks back in the day, and a carnival geek is a drunkard who is essentially paid in alcohol to act like a feral man and bite the heads off of snakes and chickens and basically just do whatever degenerate shit the carnival wants him to do, because people go there to see... I mean, people back in the day, right? Before the internet, before live leaks and things, RIP live leaks, but before... you could watch really disgusting shit on the internet. People went to the carnivals.
So who are the modern day equivalents of a geek? Like Shoe Nice? People who chug a whole gallon of booze?
Yeah, Shoe Nice
eat deodorant?
I think Shoe Nice fits a geek pretty well, if I'm going to be honest. Yeah, Shoe Nice, I would say, is an internet geek. And so the movie...
what is the plot of this movie?
Yeah, so the movie has it's a rise and fall plot, right? It's about a guy named Stanton Carlyle.
Hey, calm down, dude. If you spoil any segment of the story, it ruins my experience. If you tell me how this movie ends, I mean, I might as well not even watch it. That's true cinema. If I know what happens, I can't enjoy it.
I honestly think that at the beginning of the film, because at the beginning of reading the book, I already knew the ending just because of how it sets it up. And you're like, oh, okay, I kind of see where we're going with this. I won't say where we're going with this, I mean, until we get a little bit later. There. But from the very beginning, you kind of already know where it's going. So it opens up with Stanton Carlisle. He joins a carnival.
And he's played by Bradley Cooper. In one of the best roles I've ever seen him play.
Yeah, I would also agree with that. And so Bradley Cooper, he's kind of on the run because he killed his dad, which is something that's different from both the book and the other.
Spoiler alert, dude!
It opens up, that's literally the first shot of the film.
No, the first shot is his dad already dead and he burns down their home.
Yeah,
it's not revealed that he killed him until the end.
You can already sort of, if he's putting his dad in a hole in the middle of his house and then burning his dad, I think that, you can
It could just be that he died and he's ready to move on with his life. But I think you should make a Minion meme that says Stanton Carlisle killed his father and post it on Facebook and see if anybody cares. Nobody would give a shit.
Yeah, you know what? I might do that. I'll do. Remind me tomorrow, and I'll do that.
Just do it right now during the podcast. How hard could it be?
Well, I have to.
No, I don't want to hear you clicking around and shit.
Yeah, you don't want that. Okay, so he joins a carnival, and he becomes he works as part of a 10-in-1, which what a 10-in-1 is 1 ticket for 10 attractions, right? So it was a sideshow. It was like so if you were going to like a Ringling Brothers circus or something like that, there'd be like the main attraction, and then there'd be the sideshows that went along with it. So in these sideshows, you could see freaks, geeks, illusionists, things like that. So he's working in one of these. And
isn't it crazy how the definitions of freaks and geeks has changed in the last 80 years?
I know, it went from Nightmare Alley to Judd Apatow.
Yeah, that's a pipeline I don't want to be part of.
But so what happens is that while he's working the carnival, he learns the magic of magic. He learns essentially how to read a room. Cold reading. Funny enough, the book Nightmare Alley brought the term cold reading into the popular lexicon. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
and if you don't know what that is, I'll explain it. It's called bullshit. You got like those psychics, fortune tellers. If you don't know this, if you're my parents, let me just be clear. Those things are not real, and I should call my mom and dad on speakerphone right now so that they understand those things are not fucking real. Nobody is psychic. Nobody can speak to the dead. Nobody can predict your future. It's all fucking horseshit, and that's one of the major themes of the movie.
Yeah, that is a major theme of the movie.
Idea of, and it combines the idea of these psychics with therapy and religion, and this question of, is it okay to lie to people if it gives them emotional closure? And I thought that was I was just shocked that the movie actually had an idea that it was evaluating, unlike Spider-Man No Way Home.
Well, and even then, when now this is skipping ahead a bit. Even then, when he is using that argument, of it gives him emotional closure, he doesn't even believe that himself. He's saying that merely as a rote defense of it. But you can tell just from his own character, he doesn't believe it.
Well, but even if the character doesn't believe it, it's still something to evaluate as presented in the film.
Yeah. But anyways,
because some people might think I would rather be lied to by a psychic and pretend that I can speak to my dead relative who died suddenly. If that makes people happy inside and they're getting lied to and scammed, is it really all that bad? And I think that's a question that the movie haphazardly answers with, no, it's a horrible thing and everybody's gonna die.
Yeah, the way that the movie answers it. But that's in a later scene. So let me just kind of I'll just do a very quick run through of what the story is. So he learns how to do this right at the carnival. He decides carnival's too small time for me. I'm going to go to the big time. So he becomes a vaudeville act of He becomes like he's working on a stage. He's working at these kind of upper class sort of events, but all what it is that he's working with Molly, his girlfriend / wife, or however you want to look at it. And the way that when she's like, can you guess what is in the bag? And the way that
they have
she
like
intonates
specific tones and words that they would throw in to, let each other know what's going on.
Yeah, so the tones relate to numbers, which relate to words, and it's a whole code that they have, and that's how he's able to be blindfolded and, and see what these people are presenting, even though he's not looking at it or whatever, So he has a whole code, but really what makes him stand above everybody else is that he's also able to really read people. So he ends up falling in with Dr. Lilith Ritter, played by Cate Blanchett, who is a psychologist. And one of the very interesting things that Nightmare Alley presents, and this is Nightmare Alley in all of its iterations, is the idea that psychology is just as bullshit as like these as psychics and things like that. And that is because of the writer, William Lindsay Gresham, had been going to a psychoanalyst for years. And he was like, I'm just being fed a whole bunch of bullshit, about Oedipal complexes and about all this stuff. And he's like, this is literally all bullshit. It's the exact same thing as like these psychics that are telling me, it's like, it's kind of the same side of the, it's different sides of the same coin. And that is sort of how the film presents it, because what ends up happening is Dr. Lilith Ritter and Stanton Carlyle work together, where she gives him information on her patients, and he uses that information to, conjure up dead spirits and, say that he's talking to their dead relatives.
He can use the information that is confidential from therapy to convince people that he knows things that only a supernatural man could know.
Yeah, and one of the things that I was maybe there's an extended cut of this movie, which I would be interested in seeing. But the thing kind of about that aspect of it that was cut from the book that I thought would have been really great to have in the movie is how in the book he actually establishes a cult. And he does so by getting a lot of information off of like wealthy, powerful people, and he gets a whole radio show, and he becomes a sort of Joel Osteen of like the 30s or 40s.
Oh no!
Yeah, and he actually gets his quote unquote church, which is a nice house in Brooklyn, by convincing a woman that her dead daughter, basically the woman wronged her dead daughter, and so in penance, she has to give up her house to his church. So the book goes farther than the movie in just the amount of like, just how bad of a guy Stanton Carlyle is. Like, he is. Yeah,
I'm glad that this movie cut all that shit out, because that seems like too much. I think the movie had the perfect amount of things going on, and we didn't need to stuff anymore. Cult bullshit. What I
think makes the book interesting, because if you watch the 1947 movie, and then you watch this movie, there's a lot of similarities, but obviously this movie could get away with a lot more. This movie didn't quite get into his sexual perversions, which were in the book.
What are those?
So he
only wants to fuck old men?
No. So he discovers sex by finding his mom fucking someone who's not his dad. Yeah. And he doesn't quite have like the I hate my dad complex in the book. He has it a bit, but so they don't really go into this in the movie. But the reason he hates his dad is because the day that his mom ran away from his dad in the book, his dad beat his dog to death.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so that's the reason he hates his dad.
I was pretty satisfied with the movie explanation that his dad got cucked and his dad was too weak of a man to hold on to his mother, so that's why he just had complete disdain for him.
They imply that, he talks about it. He talks about it, but it in the and then Stanton Carlisle's just fucking a whole bunch of prostitutes in the book.
Oh no, he's cheating on his wife.
He's fucking a whole bunch of prostitutes in the book, and another thing is that. I don't know how you would really do this with the movie, but he just completely he only approaches Lilith Ritter, after the psychologist, after he essentially just breaks down from stress from his big lie. So she comes in to essentially save him, right about halfway through the book. And so she has him completely around her finger, but they do kind of show that in the movie. But he's definitely more receptive, and she's also a bigger bitch, and she's a bigger bitch in the book than she is in the movie. The one thing that was I'm getting ahead of myself with this. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but no, we're 22 minutes in. The biggest difference in between the book and the movie. So, okay, so spoilers from here on out. All right, if you're this far in, you don't care about being spoiled.
Haven't we already established that spoilers don't matter for good movies?
Yeah, no, they don't. I mean, because what you're watching with this movie, the reason to watch this is to watch Bradley Cooper just go from a man who has the world as his oyster to the most depressed man in the world who's killing himself with alcohol. It's that character transformation, which he does a fantastic job at, and he deserves at least an Oscar nom for his
I would say for the final scene alone, he deserves the Oscar. He could win the Oscar for Best Actor if the final scene was a short film.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that final scene was so great. And having Tim Blake Nelson, he's a very Kino actor. He was in Holes and in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Oh, was he the bad guy in Holes?
Yeah, he was one of the guys that ran the camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was in
More like plot holes, am I right?
Come on. Holes is Kino. But anyways, so
who the fuck? Stanley Yelnats? Oh, his name's the same backwards? Stupid! Yelnats is not a fucking name.
It is a name in the movie. Otto Octavius? What kind of name is that?
Hey, at least that isn't a damn it, what's it called when it's the same frontwards and backwards? Palindrome?
Palindrome, yeah.
Yeah, palindrome names are much more stupid than Otto Octavius.
But anyways, so that last scene, and actually, so here's a funny thing. So the last line, Mr. I was made for it, was invented in the 1947 film, because in the book, at the end, he's just like, hey, it's just a temporary job, until we get a real geek. And then it ends on that, right? Because you already heard the spiel from Willem Dafoe's character, earlier on. So it's like, oh, okay, I see where he is. But the Mr. I was made for it was made as a curtain close,
Oh my! That was heartbreaking. I thought he was going to reject it. I did not think he would. Dude, you had Willem Dafoe explain to you word for word exactly what this trap is, and then you had to dispose of the corpse of a previous geek. How? I don't care how far you fall. I don't care how homeless and alcoholic you are. You do not choose to become a geek, especially when you know that it's a big trick to ruin and kill you. And the fact that he had lost everything and he was so depressed and so alcoholic that even knowing the truth about what a geek is and that it's not a temporary job, it's going to be the rest of his life. And the fact that he is crying and laughing and then says, yeah, this is what I was born for or whatever. Oh my God. And then the movie just ends and I'm crestfallen, heartbroken. Well, horrible, sad ending.
Well, it's funny because in the 1947 version, right, it ends with Tyrone Power as Stanton Carlisle saying, "Mister, I was made for it," and then taking a big drink, and it was supposed to be, cut to the end. They showed it to 20th Century Fox, And Zanuck, who was the studio exec at the time, said, "This is too depressing. You have to shoot a happy ending." So they have this tacked on, kind of dumb, happy ending at the end of the original.
What's the happy ending? How could they possibly do that?
The happy ending is that he's geeking, right, in the carnival, and then Molly shows up as one of the sideshow acts, and she finds him. Oh my God! And then she's like, "You got to stop this," or blah blah blah. It's a semi-happy ending because he's still like.
Thank God that Disney bought Fox, because they clearly don't know what they're doing.
No, it was because of the times. It was because it came out in the 40s, and they were like, especially right after World War II, they're like, we can't have movies that are this depressing. And with the context
not? You just won the war, dude. Like, maybe it's time to be a little sad.
It was also the context of Tyrone Power starring as Stanton Carlyle in that.
Who's that?
Well, imagine if he was like, he was considered the most handsome man in Hollywood. He was kind of imagine like a Zac Efron or something.
Zach Galifianakis.
Imagine if it's like a guy who's in all these like movies for teens or something like that. Like say this, Ryan Gosling, who's in all those romantic dramas and romantic comedies back in the 2000s. All of a sudden does Drive. That's basically what Tyrone Power doing Nightmare Alley was, except the studio was just like, this is too depressing. We're putting on a tacked on happy ending, and then only having it play for like a very short time, and then killing the film and not re-releasing it until like a decade later when Tyrone Power had died. So
oh shit.
Yeah, so he got really fucked over on that one. But
well, while we're talking about the tragic ending, let me ask you this. Do you think this movie makes it into the top 10 most tragic endings in film history? Because I'm struggling to think of something that had me feeling more sick as the credits began to roll.
I'm trying to think. I don't know, Come and See. Come and See is definitely up there.
I thought that was a comedy.
Oh yeah, it's a comedy, just it has a sad ending.
Every line in the script is "war is lay bad," so I figured it was like a satire.
War is lay bad.
Lay bad.
Yeah, I was able to really understand Come and See a lot better because right before watching it, I watched The Greatest Story Never Told.
Yeah, you learn the truth about war.
Yeah, you learn. No, but Come and See had a. Gosh, I'm trying to think, but it's just the end of the day.
Come and See ends with the barn burning, right?
No, it ends with his love coming out of a van, raped until she's bleeding all over herself.
Oh
God! With her like throat, like her vocal cords like cut, and the only sound that she can make is through a little jaw harp or whatever pan flute that they put in her mouth, and she's just walking and whistling through it.
And she holds up a little note card that says "War is lay bad."
She holds up a little note card that says "War is lay bad," and then they basically get the Estonian. Actually, yeah, they were Estonian officers to. Nazi officers to pour gasoline over each other, only to find out that it was water because they were promised that if the one guy poured gasoline on the other guys and he could like survive, and then they just all got killed. Do
you think this movie would have been improved if the final line was instead Bradley Cooper looking directly at the camera and saying "Carnies are lay bad"?
Yeah, carnies are.
That's the lesson he learns.
No, as he's laughing. Carnies are la bad.
Yeah.
But I think one of the big standout things for this movie was the cinematography. I mean, it was a beautiful film through and through. This production design, cinematography.
I don't know. I think Spider-Man No Way Home had better cinematography.
Fuck off. I mean, it's Del Toro. Like, the thing about Del Toro is that even if I don't like all of his movies...
Which ones do you dislike?
I didn't like The Shape of Water.
I didn't like it as an Oscar winner, but I thought it was a decent film.
I thought it was very average. I thought it was a very pretty movie. Like, that's the thing, is that even if I don't like Del Toro's, like, all of Del Toro's films, or I don't think there's any Del Toro movie that I actively, like, dislike. But it's like, there's some that I'm just like, they're just kind of average. Crimson Peak was, kind of like, okay.
After I saw Shape of Water, I went home into the bathroom, and I tried to flood the bathroom so that I could float around in it, and it turns out it does not work that way.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, the water just kind of went into the other rooms, too. Didn't really stay in one place.
Did you also try to have sex with a fish?
Well, I did that long before I saw the film, so that didn't really affect me.
You probably did that when the South Park episode with Kanye West and the gay fish.
Yeah, back when I was 11.
yeah. I mean, who wasn't made, a little fish curious?
Yeah, eat some with fish sticks.
Yeah, you eat some fish sticks. It means you're a gay fish. No, the other Del Toro, like, I sound like a normie when I say that I think Pan's Labyrinth is still his best. But that's a fantastic film. That's a great movie.
Sometimes you peak early.
That wasn't even early for him. He'd been making movies for like 10 years because he had Kronos, The Devil's Backbone.
It's still pretty early considering his complete career, right? He's going to probably be making movies until he dies.
Yeah, but I do think that I did enjoy Nightmare Alley probably the most out of the movies he's put out since Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah.
I think that this... for me, it was like a solid, like, 75, 8 out of 10 or whatever. I was like, I really enjoyed it. The only thing that kind of got me, right, that I didn't quite like, was how he puts in, because he has to have this kind of, strong violence. That's like a director's trademark of his, right? But I thought that it kind of went against some of the, or some of the thematic lines through the movie where these are people who are using their words as their weapons.
Does the book not have the gruesome murders and violence?
No.
It doesn't?
Not at all.
What?
No, not at all.
That's crazy to me.
No, in fact, and it kind of felt a little out of place because when he goes back to Dr. Ritter, it feels out of place because it's hard to gaslight somebody that this thing never happened when he literally just killed a guy by punching his face, caving his face into his skull, and then running another guy over and his head coming off. It's hard to gaslight a person that all of this is delusion when this stuff is very visceral and, is definitely going to be all over the news. There's going to be a whole investigation and everything like that.
Was he trying to gaslight the therapist about it? I thought
No. The therapist was trying to gaslight him about it.
From what I recall, she said, "Here's your money." He looked at it and said, "Oh, it's all ones." And then she just pulled out a gun and shot him. I don't remember gaslighting.
No, she does try to gaslight him. So that whole scene is actually sort of it's a very compressed version of what was in the original film and what was in the book. What happens is that he goes on the run, and when he's at a train station and he's paying for something, he pulls out the money and he notices it's all ones.
Uh-oh.
He goes back to want to kill her, and then she gaslights him into thinking that none of it was real.
So that's a problem with the source material and not just the movie.
Well, no, I wouldn't say it's a problem. I would say it's just, when you have a movie that's already 2.5 hours long, there are
but weren't you just saying that it doesn't make sense to try to gaslight somebody that something didn't happen?
No, she's trying to gaslight him to say that, like, none of this, like, it didn't happen to justify her stealing, because the amount that she steals from him is something like $150,000, and this is in the 40s.
Yeah, back then that's like $8 billion.
Yeah, exactly. That's like $6 million, back then. And so she's trying to justify saying, like, no, this was like it was just a bunch of ones. I was just holding it for you, because you're paying with, like, my psychotherapy and stuff like that. I was just holding it for you, and there wasn't ever any sort of, scheme that we were doing. There was none of that.
I thought she was doing that because she started recording the room because she has a recorder to record her therapy sessions, and then that becomes part of the plot when Bradley Cooper sneaks into
the recording part of it. The recording part of it is something that Del Toro added.
Oh, okay, because I thought that made a lot of sense, and I didn't see that as gaslighting. I saw it as, I'm recording this conversation, so I'm going to play dumb and pretend like I think you're crazy.
That's part of it. I did enjoy that aspect of it, right?
Yeah, it sounds like Del Toro improved the scene.
Well, how he didn't improve the scene was when she brought out the gun and shot him, because
that was unnecessary.
It was really unnecessary because it's like she already beat him down with words. Because the idea, so how these two characters work is that he is like the master psychic, right? And she is like the master psychoanalyst. But they're doing the same thing. And so what you don't know, or what's kind of going on through the course of the second and third act, is that they're trying to like one up each other, and they're trying to be one step ahead of each other. It was
the original Death Note.
Yeah, it's a very anime plot line,
the two smartest like psychics in the world trying to out psychic each other, even though they're both faking it.
Yeah, exactly. So he thinks that like she's his partner, but she's actually looking at every angle to screw him over, And
typical woman.
That's why I don't trust women.
That's why the movie's Kino. It speaks truth to power.
Yeah, it speaks truth to the femoid power that runs the world. Unfortunately, we need more men.
Yeah, down with the matriarchy.
Yeah, and no, but the thing is that she already kind of puts him in his place psychologically. She breaks him psychologically with her gaslighting, and he realizes that he lost, like that. He fell under her spell, that she's doing a similar thing to him that he's done to so many other people.
Yeah.
A
taste of his own medicine. Oh, so boy.
So I was like, man, the pulling out the gun was unnecessary because the man's already broken.
Yeah, at that point, just call the guards, which she does anyway, and then he tries to choke her with the phone cord. That's all fine. The gun, I think they just wanted the cool shot of him running down the hallway smearing blood on the wall. Yeah, because otherwise I don't know why he's getting shot and having his ear all fucked up.
And
also, is she trying to kill him, or is she a marksman who can perfectly shoot his ear off? Because what a terrible shot. You're standing right next to him.
Yeah, you would think that she would just like, shoot him like center body mass, like what would happen.
Yeah, she goes for the head.
She goes for the head, but she misses. Hey, look, it's a woman shooting. You can't exactly give her that much credit. She hit him. She nicked him. She did fine. She did fine for a woman. Come on, monkey.
In the book or the previous movie, did they set up that she carries a gun with her, like early on in the movie?
Oh no, and
so that was a pretty clever change for this movie too.
Yeah, so they added this gun in, and it was also a way to streamline, her being introduced, because in both the previous movie and I don't think not so much in the book, not at all in the book, but in the previous movie, she was like a heckler at one of his shows. So they sort of took that in and used it as like a streamlined thing, but. They added the gun in, and when I saw the gun, I was like, okay, this is Chekhov's gun. If you're watching a movie and you see a gun show up early on, it's going to be shot at some point in the film. We
need to make a movie that defies all convention, and just opening scene, 1,000 guns are in everybody's hands, and then nobody gets shot the whole time.
Then it's a movie about people debating things, It's a very intellectual movie.
Yeah.
But no. Well, one of the biggest changes, though, and I was kind of hoping that they would stick to the book on this one, because this movie, the big climax scene, is more like the 1947 film than it is like the book. So, and I was kind of hoping, I was maybe because I'm a big fan of Sallow, I was kind of hoping it'd be more like the book, just so I could see it.
Sallow also has a very happy, funny ending, right?
Yeah, Sallow. That I think that's probably up there, like the top 10 most depressing movie endings of all time. A Serbian film is definitely up there.
Eating shit is lay bad.
No, Sallow ends with the torturing and killing of all the people.
Well,
and then a Serbian film, I think that ending is also in the top 10, like, most depressing film endings of all time.
I think the ending of Serbian film... No, because at that point, they're already dead.
Well, it's black comedy.
I don't really care about a dead child getting raped. It's not going to ruin his life. He's already dead.
Yeah. But the fact is, the scene before that, his own dad raped him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the ending of Serbian film is more uplifting because those three people who have suffered so much finally get their eternal rest, as opposed to this movie where this guy's going to be tortured as a geek for at least 6 months until he dies of alcohol poisoning.
So they kind of found a middle ground in this movie between the book and the original film with regards to the scene where he makes his dead lover come back to life, right? So, the story is his dead lover died because she had a kid, and then he forced her to have a back alley abortion. You're not talking about
Bradley Cooper. This is like the billionaire who he's
trying to... This is the billionaire.
He's trying to con him in the movie.
Yeah. So basically the second half of the movie, he turns to trying to con this billionaire to try to get tons and tons of money off of him. But he has to, he can't just keep reciting this confidential information he got from Dr. Ritter. He has to start making things at least seem real. So
this guy has lived with 50 years of regret over the loss of his love, and he just wants to see her as a ghost or a spirit one final time. And Bradley Cooper's like, well, if I'm gonna make $100,000, I might as well try to make this happen.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, what he does is, because she dies because of a forced back alley abortion, he has her come back in this dress and smears fake blood all over her hands and on her belly to kind of, show like, oh, you killed me, blah, blah, blah. And he says, have her at a distance. That's similar to the movie, but it's not similar to the book. But going back to
what's the trick in the book? What's he trying to do?
Well, going back to this movie, he kind of reveals he's a very dark guy, that he's hurt a lot of women, right? And you kind of like, oh, okay, so he's like a serial rapist.
Who?
In the book, the billionaire.
Oh, okay. You gotta be clear. You just keep using pronouns here, and I'm getting confused.
Okay, so in the book, what Stanton does is, in his church that he's created, and he has rigged out with all sorts of like, like he steps on a floorboard, and then you like hear a voice, like an ominous, like omnipresent voice, and that's something that I kind of wish that could have been in this movie, because it's like he has this house like tricked out with all this stuff, like little film projectors and hidden stuff that makes people think that they're ghosts and stuff. I think that could have been really visually interesting, even if it was just a montage. I don't know, like showing him sort of doing all this. What he does is, the reasoning is, if she came back from the dead, she wouldn't be wearing any clothes. So he has his living girlfriend Molly appear naked, and the billionaire tries to rape her, and that's why. Yeah,
in the snow.
No, like inside his house.
Oh, okay.
So what he does is, he doesn't even know, like, well, I mean, I guess he does know, but it's never said that she looks like his, like his ex-lover. But the thing is that there's been such a big span of time. He kind of drugs the billionaire beforehand, so the billionaire's like sort of like woozy and drunk and
smart.
And then he has her appear naked, and then the billionaire goes and tries to rape her. And so Stanton, so that's when she breaks character, and then Stanton punches her first.
What?
Yeah.
What the fuck? What?
Yeah.
She broke character and he's pissed?
Yeah. And then he clocks the billionaire, and the billionaire passes out. But the thing is, she didn't pass out because he didn't punch her nearly as hard as he punched the billionaire. So they clear out, right?
No need for murder.
They both clear out and go like their different ways. And and so then he's being like hunted down, and that's when he goes to the Ritter's place. And actually what happens at the end of the book is that Dr. Lilith Ritter was playing the long game and ended up seducing the billionaire and marrying him for his money.
Oh, God. I feel like the book has too many bullshit plot points.
Well, the thing is that, like, in a book, right, you can have a lot of this stuff going on, and in a movie you have to streamline it. So I understand, some of the streamlined stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool how they streamlined it, in fact, there was a lot of different sort of, Guillermo del Toro took a different approach to the story as a whole that the book did, and I enjoyed it because the thing is that if I want the exact story of the book, I would read the book, and if I want the movie, I'd watch the movie. Like, they're similar, but they're separate, and but the only thing that was a big demerit for me for the movie was her deciding to shoot him as he was leaving. I was like, what the fuck is that about? like I don't know. That was my big thing. I do
like the shot of him running down that hallway and smearing the blood. I mean, it's a good visually shot. It looks very cool, but yeah, it was just so out of left field. It was so unnecessary.
Also, you want to know something? In both the new movie and the old movie, they didn't have the character of Joe Plasky. And Joe Plasky is essentially Joe from Family Guy. He's a cripple.
Who did he play?
No, in Family Guy, he's the cripple, the guy in the wheelchair, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, neither of the movies had him. They kind of incorporated.
What does he do in the book?
He's an acrobat. He's an acrobat cripple that teaches Stanton how to fight, and he marries Xena and actually helps Stan run away when he's on the run from the billionaire. But they sort of integrated his character into the dwarf in the movie and into Ron Perlman's character. They kind of put his stuff in there. I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time, I kind of wanted to see Joe from Family Guy, because when I was reading the book, his whole character is just like Joe from Family Guy.
Now, Kino, how would you define the characterization of Joe from Family Guy? I would love to hear 5 tenets of his personality.
Hey, Peter.
Is that really all you got? That's what you wanted to see in this movie?
I just thought, wouldn't it be funny if everyone here is like a real person or something, and then one of the carnival people is Joe from Family Guy.
You know what's sad is that in the first half of Family Guy, Joe was a real character, like a real cop. He had a real background, and now they know he's a meme. They got the meme king voicing him. So yeah, now he's a Peter, and that's it. It's just the memeiest lines.
He's been Flanderized for sure.
Not even Flanderized is when you just become one part of your personality. He switched personalities completely.
Yeah, because even in the earlier episodes of Family Guy, he would arrest. He arrested Peter for breaking the law. Like, he really was a super law-abiding guy, and then introducing his son, and he actually had a lot of character in the. That's why I only watched the first 5 or 6 seasons of Family Guy. I don't really bother with anything after.
Oh, you're missing out. You're missing out. You gotta keep watching it.
One episode from a season that released maybe in the last 5 years that I did like, because I have Hulu, so sometimes I'll just sometimes I'll watch a later Family Guy episode to see what's going on, to keep up with
catch
kids,
up with the plot.
Yeah, I did like the K-pop, the South Korean episode, where
I don't remember that one,
where they discovered that Quagmire was in a Korean drama, and then there's a K-pop parody music at the end. That actually was a pretty funny one, but most of the
might have to check that out. I think I missed that.
Yeah, the other ones, I don't know what season it's from. They all blend together. American Dad is the only one that, from the McFarlane universe, that has been pretty solid consistently.
I think we're going to have to, is it Kino, both seasons of the Cleveland Show before you can make that a statement. Now, that's some true Kino.
I have seen some episodes of the Cleveland Show, and I want my time back.
You're going to sue God for more time on Earth?
I think that in a modern day, right? A modern day carnival geek would get drunk and watch episodes of the Cleveland show for people's entertainment.
My name is Cleveland Brown, and I am proud to be right back in my hometown with my new family. There's old friends and new friends and even a bear. Through good times and bad times, it's true love we share. Now, can you do the other half of the theme song?
No, I can't.
Actually, it's only one more lyric. So now I found a place where everyone will know my happy mustache face. This is the Cleveland show. Ha ha ha. That's it. That's for Is It Kino. I've been in Cleveland. Now, do you have any final thoughts on this film and Is It Kino?
Yeah, I think it's Kino. I really enjoyed it. As I said, just except for the violent stuff that I thought was a little bit too like out of nowhere. I just felt like it was.
You were hoping for more rape and less violence in the film.
I was. Unironically, yes.
Is there a movie out there with a message that rape is lay bad? Because I think you need to watch it.
Irreversible. I've already seen it.
Yeah,
there's a few movies, where it's rape is labad. It's not just one, I own a few of them.
Okay. Well, I'll say this movie is so far my favorite of the year. I think I said that before. Pure Kino. I absolutely love it when a film can make me feel emotions that are so tainted and dark and depressing that it's all I can think about as I'm walking down the stairs of the theater. And this movie definitely does that. And it's so rare that a movie makes me feel so disgusted and sick in the pit of my stomach upon the credits rolling.
So I think there's one final question for the audience here. If you guys have gotten this far, out of the whole Is It Kino crowd, who is the most likely to turn into a geek?
So who's most likely to become a complete alcoholic degenerate who's biting the necks of chickens and about to be killed for other people's entertainment?
Yeah, that's the question. So who should we involve
so
in
it's
this
going to be you, me, Florian. I think to be an official Is It Kino co-host, you have to be on at least, maybe 10 episodes. So I don't want to do like people from years and years ago who aren't even on this YouTube channel. So maybe we'll just stick with those 3 unless there's somebody I'm missing.
We know that we would all lose if we put Rusty Cage on the straw poll.
Well, he's not part of Is It Kino. He's never been on this show.
He's not part of Is It Kino, but I think that if we do put him on there, he would win. But we need a poll where Mumkey can win, guys. Mumkey's got to win one poll at some point.
I honestly think you would become an alcoholic before me. I'm not that interested in drinking anymore. So it sounds like you've been drinking for this podcast. So you're halfway there.
I was drinking for this podcast to get in the spirit of it all. I also want to bring that up as one last point, how Dr. Ritter, in one of her ways to sort of control Stanton, gets him into drinking alcohol when he's very anti-booze before that.
Yeah.
She sort of is the temptress, the Adam and the Eve giving Adam the apple, right? She gives him the brandy or the whiskey. It's brandy in the book, but I think it's whiskey in the movie. She gives him hard alcohol, and he gets hooked on it.
Do you think they switched it because brandy got blacked?
I think they switched it, honestly, just because brandy isn't nearly as popular a liquor today. And
yeah, that's fair.
I think that a lot of people just wouldn't really know what brandy is. I don't know. Like, you don't really hear of people drinking brandy that much. That's like an old person's drink. I tried some brandy a couple weeks ago because I had to use it in cooking, and I really did not like it. So, yeah.
What are you cooking that has brandy as an ingredient?
It was something for like Thanksgiving or something. I forget. It was
trying to get your family drunk.
No, it was part of some marinade. I I forget what it was.
Well, I think what we're trying to say is straw poll link in the description. Go vote to see or to declare which Is It Kino host is most likely to become a geek. And we really need to wrap this up, Kino. So I need your final plug and your final thought.
My final plug is that I have a video on Nightmare Alley.
What?
Yes! Video on Nightmare Alley.
So in case 1 hour of us discussing this movie wasn't enough, go check out Kino's video discussing the same thing. Do you even say anything different that you just said in this podcast?
No. However,
why would anybody watch that?
However, you do get to see me dressed up as a fortune teller.
Oh, shit.
So, and make an absolute ass out of myself by looking like an idiot. I'm a monkey dancing for your entertainment. I'm a geek biting off heads of chickens for your entertainment.
Hey, you heard it here first, folks. He's the geek, not me.
But yeah, that's what I have to plug.
Would you peg me as more of a Stanton Carlyle or more of a Willem Dafoe?
I would peg you as more of a Willem Dafoe.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the midget.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the midget, actually.
When the midget is standing on top of a table so he can dance with the woman, I never related more to a character.
You know what's funny about that midget character in the book? His opening, how he's like open his. So when we're first like introduced to him in the book, we're hearing his thoughts, and his opening thought in the book is about how much he hates women, and that someday he's just gonna gun down a whole bunch of women because none of them will have sex with him.
Wow, I was right. He really is relatable.
Yeah.
Anyway, folks, I say this movie, I've already said this before, but it's pure Kino. If you have not seen it yet, go check it out. You could probably find it online or something. I don't know. Is it available online yet?
If your local cinemas are not, deleting the showings of it because of Spider Cuck, you'll be able to see it at your local cinema.
Any idea when it will be available on 123movies.com?
I don't go to 123movies.com. I watch every movie legally.
That's pretty lame.
Well, I mean, I am the Kino Corner.
Are you going to buy this movie on 4K Blu-ray release?
Yeah, I might.
Fuck yeah. Okay, for Is It Kino, you know who we are. See you next time, folks.